All right, the Memo podcast, back at it again, and we are back with another special guest.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. This is your third time on the podcast.
Hell yeah, my dude.
Mikey Reed. You're probably you are the most recurring guest.
It's been 3?
Yeah, this is his third time on.
Veteran.
I'm telling you, bro, every time. I'm down.
The veteran to the Memo podcast.
Veteran.
Yeah. I do gotta say, before we keep going, me and Jose did a podcast last week, and we were talking to everybody about social distancing, like y'all gotta social distance, and literally the next episode we have someone come over to the house.
Because minorities don't get infected. I'm just saying, like, Mexicans don't get infected. I mean, I hope to God, no one I know gets infected, but when's the last time you saw a Mexican that was sick? Never.
Last week.
Never. Mexicans work 3 jobs. They're never sick, like, come on.
Okay,
man.
So speaking of sick, Mikey, there's a very specific reason why I wanted you to come on this podcast, and we've talked about it before off the podcast, but I think now is the time to talk about it, because I think you would have some crazy stories. You are an EMT.
Yeah.
So I know you've seen some crazy shit. I've heard some of the crazy shit. So would you like
now,
to...
the coronavirus also, or the COVID-19, affects infants or babies and elderly people the most. And from my understanding, Mikey is an EMT for the elderly.
Sort of, yes.
Okay, so explain them.
Okay, so the reason why babies and, elderly are, affected by it is because their immune system is either they're just born, so they're weak. Their immune system isn't built up to, fight that hard. And then if you're older, then, of course, your immune system is just shot.
You have a lot of complications.
Yeah.
People with kidney failure, diabetes are also very affected.
Right.
So it's not just elderly. There's also people in their 30s and 40s that are going out because of it, because of the problems that they have.
So have you experienced any... I mean, I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but have you experienced any cases or anything like that?
So not, straight up, this person has corona because the tests were so short. But I have been to places where they've had, the symptoms of it. Mm-hmm. And so whenever... If we get, dispatched and this person is having fever and this and that, then, we literally have to, hazmat suit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then after we deal with the patient, then we have to go all the way back to the station. Then we have to, put our donning in red, hazard bags. Mm-hmm. And then we have to, clear the truck out. We have to literally get in there, with a water hose and, clear it all out. And that's
just if someone has the symptoms, not even the coronavirus, just the symptoms.
Yeah, because I mean, like he was saying, it's just spread so easily, just like that. But the shitty part is we you could have symptoms just walking around being just fine, and you won't.
Yeah, you won't know that you have it.
Yeah,
you could have it up to 14 days and not show any symptoms.
Right. But also, you could not get sick, but you're passing it around to other people, and that's why it's sparking. That's why everyone's stay in your fucking house, stay in, don't be touching everything, because you can spread it so easily. Mm-hmm. And it's the older people and the younger people that we're worried about, because kids now, they're shutting down schools because they're gross, they touch everything, and older people, they just can't.
And then we have this new generation. I want to say, millennials, but also, obviously Gen Z, where they don't care about this. They don't think it will affect them. They're still going out and partying. They're still going to...
And spreading.
They were still out in Baton Rouge, and they were still out on Florida Beach. They're spreading it. They're, earlier, before the travel ban, they were traveling, going to Hawaii. They were going to New York, which New York has the most cases.
I went to Cali.
And apparently, he went to Cali. Apparently, in Dallas and a few other places, they're doing now home visits for anyone that has traveled to New York. Mm-hmm. They literally go to your house and test you for the coronavirus.
Now, okay, so... You touched on it a second ago. You went to Cali. So paint me the picture of you. Because, bro, here, since no one was traveling, flights were cheap as fuck. No one was flying. So paint me the picture of what it was like to fly in the airport.
Especially because you were also there when it was on lockdown, right?
No.
No.
Okay, so I actually told you, I sent you a thing that said California was going on lockdown.
Yes.
And you're like, well, there's no point in me going now, but you still went.
But I still went because my tickets were purchased, and I found out that I couldn't get it refunded. And I was going to be off because my PTO was up, so this was like the last time I would have time off.
So you said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go." Like,
So tell me what the airport scene was like.
airport scene. I haven't been like I don't know. I mean, it was of course very, very.
So was it like extremely packed because everyone was
No.
flying, or was it dead?
No, so like when I went there, I had like economy seats, just like $100. I got round trip to California, and when I got on there, it was dope. I met this homie; he was really cool. But we got fucked up on the plane. But we got to sit in premium seats because the flight was empty. So we got free drinks because I was sitting in premium.
So
seats.
they moved you to premium?
No, they told us we could sit wherever. And so we were just like, oh, well, like...
First class.
Yeah, I like, before I even got into the airplane, they told us, like, hey, like, you can... I asked. I was like, so, since it's empty, like, can we sit wherever? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. And so, of course, I'm not going to go to the back of the plane. Like, I sat up front.
Hell yeah.
And then...
He's not paying $15 for no chips.
yeah. And then
Go
they were
up
like,
front.
oh, okay, cool. Like, I was like, I am sitting in premium, so I get free drinks, right? And they're like, yeah, actually, you are. So... we got fucked up.
And it was just you two on the plane? Like,
no,
legit?
there was like
Okay.
there was maybe 8 of us.
Out
Yeah,
of how many seats
out
would
of
you think?
Shit, maybe like 70 people can fit on there.
Damn.
Yeah.
So the plane was legit, like, pretty much empty.
Yes.
And it was 80 y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, the airports, were they packed full of people or no?
No, there was like not even 100 people at the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, people are smart enough not to travel.
So when you... throwing shots at Mike. So when you get to Cali, what is the scene like? Because we're hearing, oh, it's quarantine, nobody can leave their houses.
No.
when I heard lockdown before it happened here in Fort Worth, I thought lockdown meant no exiting your house.
Yeah.
I thought you were quarantined, basically.
No.
And then Memo was like, "Oh, well,
You can leave your house for
I
the
saw
essentials."
videos of people still on the beach and still on whatever."
So when I got there, it was people were still like out doing their thing. So when I got to the airport, people were around me doing their thing, and then when I traveled to Venice, there was no restaurants open. Like restaurants and like anything that you can think of was closed.
So like how it is here now.
Yes, pretty much. Yes,
Because they closed down a week
They were
before
like a
us. They
week-
had closed down a week before us, yeah.
They hit before us. So, but it wasn't shelter. Like they didn't have the shelter in yet. So like you could still go out and do your thing. So all the restaurants were closed, but like there was literally thousands of people still on the beach, and like skate park was full. My hostel that I stayed at, as soon as I got there, it was fine, and then like as the days progressed, they like shut off the lodge. So like you couldn't go sit in like the chill area, and like only like the next day one person could only be in the kitchen at a time.
What?
And so like it as like the days went
It
on,
got a
it
little
got
more
more
serious.
strict and strict. And then when I left, apparently they were like going on full lockdown, like shelter, like we are now. Like you're not supposed to go out. But apparently like Venice is different, because when I was there, everyone was saying how different it is. People aren't gonna listen. Like.
And that's why I was telling Jose, I was like, the only reason this lockdown's supposed to last for 2 weeks. The only reason this lockdown will last longer than 2 weeks, because people were saying April, May, June. The only reason this lockdown will last so long is because people won't listen and stay in their houses.
Yeah.
So if we have people in Venice Beach still going out.
Because it's not martial law yet. So like really in like being a good person, you should stay in, and this is what that is saying. Is like
You can't
be a
force
good
anyone
person.
to.
Yeah, but you can't
and
force
stay
people
in,
to stay
But
inside.
you can't force them, and so that's when like we're like.
So
American,
I'm
fuck off.
guessing you're on vacation. You
Yeah.
traveled to California. You were one of the people that were on the beach and
Yeah, I was like,
skate
fuck.
parks and
Yeah.
doing your thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was fun.
And did you take precautions?
Was
You
there-
didn't- You didn't shake hands. You didn't come in contact.
Yeah,
with
everybody
anyone,
was
or-
like fist bump, like not even like I literally tried to do a fist bump, and somebody was like, "Nah, you're good," and like hit me with an elbow, and I was like, "All right, bet."
So people are taking precaution. It's not like
Yeah.
they're just freely doing
Yeah,
whatever.
no. But
What did you do to take precaution, though? Did you do anything specific to...
I brought Germ-X, and I just like washed my hands a lot. But I mean, and see, that's the thing about this whole virus thing is like we were saying earlier, is people like it's spread so easily, but only young people and older people are really the ones that suffer from it. So as long as you just wash your hands and don't be gross, then you're fine.
Which you should. I told Jose, I was like, you should be washing your
mean,
hands already.
Yeah, you should be, you know, up to hygiene, but
It is
but
airborne.
you can't help.
It is airborne.
It is airborne.
I thought it was
No,
only
I
is if
heard
you.
it was- I
yeah,
mean,
I thought it was if you come in contact with
sneezing and
someone.
coughing.
Exactly. It's like if
Sneezing and coughing.
if
you
somebody
can't help
sneezes or coughs on you, then yes, that you're probably most likely gonna get it. But just me and you talking right here, it's fine. Like, you just don't fucking put your tongue down somebody and you know just like keep.
No, but I mean,
be
if someone has
cautious about
sweaty palms and you slap his hand, you give like a little handshake. I mean, you also have a risk of.
Yeah, if you touch your face and all that stuff, like. But what I was saying is just wash your hands and don't be gross.
Now, how about this other theory that the heat kills the coronavirus?
Now, see, that makes sense, but then again, it doesn't. So I don't know too much about that. It makes sense because shit, I feel like shit when I'm in the heat. Like, I want to die when I'm in the heat. So why wouldn't it be that way for like germs? I think sunlight would kill germs, but really like in hospitals.
I hope that's the way that it is because it's starting to get hot.
Yeah, but in hospitals they keep it cold because cold kills like germs. So I don't know.
I guess it's both ways. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just saw someone, like some guy from like Africa was saying, he was like, the heat kills the virus.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So,
in theory, it makes sense, but who knows? I don't know. I haven't done research on that yet.
I don't know.
But so people in Venice are still going out. So while you were there, people were still going out, even though the restaurants and everything were closed.
Yes, actually, there was a restaurant that was open. Luckily, because it was like really hard.
Sit
to
down and everything.
No, it was like curbside and all that stuff. Like you could go in and
that's what they have
stuff.
here.
Yeah,
you have curbside to goes only.
Yeah, but at the time we were still open and like sitting in there. But when I went, it was just like come in, order your food, and then get out
And then leave.
Yeah, but that was like there was one restaurant on because I stayed on Venice Beach. Like my hostel was on the beach, and so like on that block there was that one restaurant open. So luckily I was like able to go get breakfast in the morning. And
okay, so what did you do for fun? Because I know if I go to California, I'm gonna want to go to the bars. I'm gonna go to the restaurants. I'm gonna do all you wanted to go to. I mean, go to the beach, obviously, but I imagine a lot of this stuff is closed.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
So like that's what my mom was actually just saying. Like my mom and coworkers were talking about it. And, like when people go on vacation, like they want to go and see this and they want to go and see that and all that bullshit. But like me, like I just wanted to be like in the sunlight, like on the beach, just like living life. And so like I like literally right in front of my hostel where I was staying, the skate park was there. So I lived at the skate park, and then I like skated to Santa Barbara and like Monte Del Rey, and I really just like skated around and kicked it with homies.
So it was more like a skate trip almost. It wasn't really like for you to go out to clubs and anything like that. It was mainly just for you to skate around.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like the clubs were closed. Like my hostel, right next door to them, like neighbor, like the next door over, they have a bar. They have a bar attached to it. So like usually it's always lit. Like there's thousands of people on the beach, and the bars are always going. But it was not that way. But still, like, there was hundreds of people on the beach still. There was people at the skate park. There's people doing everything they do.
What about places? Did you go to, like, the Hollywood Walk or anything like that? No?
It was fucking, dude.
Because I was going to say, I wonder if it would be dead. I was wondering if it would be dead, like, around the Hollywood
Yeah, I don't know, but Uber was so expensive. So, like, Venice is maybe not 30 minutes, but it's a good ways from Venice, and that's where my hostel was. So I stayed in that area, but... Like, from the airport to Venice, my Uber was like $40.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Yeah.
Going back to the airports.
Yeah.
There obviously wasn't the same amount of people, the crowd that would be there if it was regular.
Yeah, no.
But did they take more precaution? Was it longer to get through the lines? Were they all in the suits that you were talking about?
Nope.
They weren't taking any precaution?
It was like fly right through TSA and everything.
Yeah,
well, okay,
like
this is also, you got to think, it hadn't hit here yet. Like, it was a week before, like, it hit California, and then a week later, like, we're just now getting into
I'm talking about,
now.
Entering California airport.
Yeah,
like,
no, it wasn't, they didn't take it to that extent. Because at the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. So, nobody's enforcing them to
Like, I know, okay, I don't know if this was around the time you were coming back or if it was before you came back or after you came back, but I saw something on Twitter. They were saying that the airports were taking more precaution because there was a bunch of people coming back from vacation, so it was taking longer to get through the airport because people were being checked. So, and so this is before you weren't checked or anything like that.
Yeah, no. I think they really, it was like internationally, which they cut off international flights.
What about for your job? Like, I know you talked about it earlier, like wearing the suits, but do they check your temperature, or do they do anything like to like before you deal with, or like after you deal with people?
Yeah, so when we clock in, they do like a screening, and you just answer some questions like, do you have a fever, do you have a cough, do you have congestion, all that bullshit. And then you take a temperature on yourself, and then you put that into the system.
Okay,
and,
so the EMTs are taking precautions when they...
Yeah, before shift. But then when you get out in the field, like at hospitals, at nursing homes, everywhere, they're stopping you at the door before you come in. They're asking you all the screening questions. They're taking your temperature. They're writing your name down. Where have you been in the last blah, blah, blah days? And have you been out of the country? All of that.
So when you told them you traveled, what were their worries?
So
did they have worries?
Mainly, it's if you've been on a cruise or if you've been internationally.
See, my manager recently went on a cruise, and it was right before restaurants shut down and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And, they kind of had, like, a little bit of questions for them. There was one person that got escorted off of the cruise, but it wasn't because of them being sick. Yeah. But they basically just let everybody through.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he didn't have no troubles. He went to Cozumel, Mexico, and back, like, just fine on the cruise.
Yeah. I don't know too much about that, but I did hear that whenever it first broke out, maybe like a week or two ago, there was a cruise that got stuck out somewhere.
Oh, it got stuck out there for like a week or something like that, right?
Bro, and that's tough because they were having to like rely on resources and like really, you can only like flush the toilet once or twice a day out of fucking hundreds of people on that boat, and like they wouldn't cater to them, because they were like, oh shit.
And I was gonna say I would say if you're on a cruise, you have like, you're using what you have on that ship, so once that stuff runs out, you're pretty much shit out of luck. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They only, I would say, like, if they bring, like, if food, for example, they only have enough food to serve this many people per day, or exactly.
Yeah. Which that's tough, man. That sounds like a shitty situation, but.
So back to you being an EMT. I was gonna ask you because, like I said, we've talked about it before. So, what are some of the crazy things that you've seen being an EMT?
So I work for a private company, and what that pretty much sums it up is, I'm the middleman, and I really don't do 911. Like, we do 911, but it's not common. So we really just do like transport. And for my first like year or two as an EMT, I didn't want to just like jump into 911 because that's where I got my schooling. And that's where I saw, like, crazy shit. Like, my first call was a guy that got his head crushed by a car on the highway. And his head was all over the pavement. Like, it was nuts. And you see a lot of stuff.
Did that kind of get you, like, not wanting to do 911 calls?
Absolutely not. I love 911.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was dope. But it is a lot, and it's, like, a commitment. And
do you get almost like PTSD after seeing crazy shit like that? You don't have any like nothing like that.
No. But that's just I'm not saying that for everyone. That's just like me though, because I like grew up playing video games and shit. So
you're of a different breed.
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit, that's a nigga on the pavement.
Okay, so what's the story of? I mean, I've heard it before, but for the listeners, what's the story of the dude getting his head ran over?
So I was in Arlington.
And this is your first. This is your first job, right? Your first 911 call.
Yeah, and this was when I was getting my EMT and I was a student, and I was doing ride-alongs for hours.
So you're basically in training and new experiences.
Correct. So it was my first call or my first shift as a trainee, and I roll up to a scene, and it's in Arlington, and it's for a patient that's been in a motorcycle accident. So we roll up, and that's all we know. And so the story was he was on a moped, and he didn't have a helmet on, and he was getting on the highway, like on the service road, yielding onto the highway. And when he did that, he like kind of hit a car. And so when he did that, he fell. A car came by, because everyone's going 70 miles an hour, you know, so you can't just like stop out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So one car came by and hit him, and then another car came by and hit him, and then the third car came by and it like ran his head over. And that car, the third car that ran his head over, didn't stop. Like, it was a hit and run. Like, they didn't stop. And so whenever we got up there, like, there's traffic, there's people just like driving by, and there's fucking kids in the car driving by,
Looking
just
and
like
shit.
looking. And my paramedic was just like, all right, go get a sheet. And he threw me a sheet. And he's like, go cover him up. So, like, I walk up to him, and it's literally like a watermelon, like, busted all over the floor. And he had, like, tire tracks, like, on him. And he was fucked up, man. He was fucked up. And I was like, damn.
And these are
And
from
that, wait,
cars
but
just
that
constantly
didn't,
running him over?
but that didn't discourage you at all from wanting to do,
I
no?
was like-
Okay, I'm just curious.
No, I was like,
That'd be pretty fucking gnarly, don't
Yeah,
you?
that's what I'm saying.
Because think
Like-
about it, like, when I apply for, you know, a job, I'm training, or it's my first day on the floor. I'm a
And
server.
you see that.
I'm a server, okay? So, like,
Oh.
I want my first day or my first couple days to be as bad as possible.
Yeah.
Because nothing worse can happen after that.
right.
Almost, you know? Like, if I apply to a Mexican restaurant, Cinco de Mayo, and I see how fucking crazy it is, I'm like, if I could live past this,
Yeah.
I could do anything after,
Yeah.
you know? So it's almost the same thing. Is that if I could see somebody's head be run over 3 times, squashed like a watermelon on the floor, I could live past this and get through it and still, like, want to continue.
Right.
I mean, you basically have, when
But
you
I
say,
like
I've
that
seen
shit.
it all, you're like, I could go further than this.
Yeah.
So, what I was gonna say is like, okay, so that happens, and so when a
Wait,
situation,
does that discourage you at all because you used to ride a motorcycle?
See, so I was riding my motorcycle and that happened, and my dumbass didn't wear a helmet then. And so when I first saw this shit, it was like an
eye-opener.
An epiphany.
eye opener. Yeah, I was like, all right, I need to start wearing my helmet. So I started, but
I would think so. After seeing some gruesome shit like
so
that.
this doesn't like
Because you always think, like, this will never happen to me. And
Yeah.
that same guy probably thought the same thing.
mm-hmm.
Until his head is squashed like a watermelon on the fucking freeway, on the highway.
But
So-
honestly, there's like a lot of people think whenever I wasn't like wearing my helmet, I was trying to be like cool
A
and like a badass, and like it really wasn't that. It's like you just don't understand. I made the mistake of getting a motorcycle for my main transportation, and bro, it gets fucking hot in Texas. And when you're by all these cars and their mufflers are hitting you, and like you're in the sun, like you get fucking hot. Like you don't want to helmet
I
on.
bet. But driving
But also,
past everyone, you
yeah,
don't...
but also, I wasn't. Whenever I had my motorcycle, I wasn't driving. I like worked around here. Like I worked at the UPS store. I worked at Bronson Rock. You know, like I wasn't.
You weren't the asshole
I wasn't
that was
going,
weaving through
yeah, like,
everyone.
I
and-
wasn't going
on
on the
35.
highway. Yeah, like I wasn't having to travel on the highway every day. Like I was just on 377 every day.
And I'm guessing you did, at one point, go on 35 and everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Were you the guy that was skipping? I'm guessing you...
no.
Because you're small enough, you could
Yeah,
fit through
but
everything
my
else.
bike wasn't mechanically inclined for that. Like I had a like,
So
I
you
had a
sat in
Harley.
traffic like everyone else did.
Yeah, every once in a while, but like, but I had a Harley, so I didn't have that capability of like zooming 100 miles an hour through everyone. Like I was just putting.
Because I have friends, they have sports bikes, and they post on Snap, they're literally recording themselves as they're going
Yeah.
120 on the highway. Like,
yeah, but my bike wasn't made for that. Like I had a cruiser bike. Like I couldn't go fucking 150 miles an hour if I wanted to.
do you have the leather vest and the
No, I
beard
didn't
going?
do, I didn't do all that. I was like that fucking skater kid with my board on my backpack and like Vans on and shit. Like,
okay, so back to more EMT stories. So that's your first. That's literally like your first day on the
Yes.
job, seeing someone's
Yeah.
head get crushed. What's something else that you've seen?
I saw this one dude. It was like in a sketchy ass neighborhood in Fort Worth, and apparently he was like messing with a homie's girl, and like they got into it, and homegirl's boyfriend like busted a bottle over his face, and so like when we arrived, he's just like there's just blood everywhere, like fucking everywhere on him, and his lips like are just cut open, like he's literally his lips are hanging on his face. And so, like, I had to, like, hold... my paramedics, the ones that were training me, it was a girl.
This is still training.
Yeah. It was a girl, and she didn't want to do it. Like, she was like, I can't deal with blood. And I was like, how the fuck? You're a paramedic. But, like, me as an EMT and, like, being, like, in it, and this is my first time, I was like, shit, like, I'll do it. So, like, I got my gauze. Too, yeah. I got my gauze, and, like, I was doing, like, all my patient assessment and all that. And, like, I held pressure the whole time. Like, it was dope. I loved it. But that's just, like, again, like, that's my alley. Like, I like that. I think it's kind of gnarly. Like, I think it's cool. You know, not them dying, but, you know.
Yeah.
Just like,
so when you get the call, is it do you just hear domestic abuse and you show up, or you know what you're pulling up to, a guy with his lips chopped off?
It really depends. Like, they only get what whoever called gets. So
whatever they tell you is what you're expecting.
So you literally, that happens all the time. Like, we could be going up for somebody can't breathe, they're having respiratory failure. We're like, okay, cool. So we rush there, and then they got a fucking knife stabbing or a gunshot wound. You know, like, it just.
Yeah, I've seen that before. One of the last times I was in county, there was this Mexican guy, and he kind of
the county. Like, it shit sucks. There's the whole thing, like, niggas hanging by the window banging and shit.
It's
like,
horrible.
Fuck that.
It's horrible. So I was in general population this time, so you're in there with murderers and rapists and. You know, you could be in there for a DWI, and you're in there with like real guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm doing my thing. You know, just hanging out, watching TV, and this Mexican guy comes up to me, and he kind of takes me over his wing. You know, and he's like, "If you need anything, you know, let me know." He gave me some boxers and some socks and whatnot, and he had like his eye was shut, and. You know, I started asking him, I was like, so why are you in here? And he was like, oh, it was like a domestic abuse thing. You know, he's illegal from Mexico. He had a girlfriend here. And he was messing around with some other girl. So the white girl that was like his actual girlfriend, like, caught him, busted him open with a bottle, and then stabbed him in the eye with it.
Oh, shit.
So he was missing an eye. He was scratched up. He literally had slashes on his face.
Damn.
And whatnot. And it sucked because he was like, and he's basically fighting that case even though the girl like beat his ass because he like defended himself and like grabbed her back. He was in jail.
But obviously because he's illegal, then they're just gonna kick him.
But it sucked because I saw it. Like I was like, it was disgusting. Like this guy had slashes on his face, missing an eye, and I was like. How does
was it like already healed or was it just like
it was? Well, his eye was basically just. It was like walking around with a shut eye. He was missing an eye.
Damn.
And then he had a big slash on his face.
That's fun.
You know, it was healed at the time, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting to see if I get deported or not." He was just chilling, bro.
So I was gonna ask you because I've asked you before in Austin, but I don't remember. When you drop someone off at the hospital, you don't really know whether or not they like lived or died or anything like that. You don't get you're pretty much just dropping people off and on, right? You don't get to hear like the result of your work, right?
Yes and no. It just really depends on how severe the case was and if you like really know somebody. Because you can return to that hospital and be like, hey, what happened with homeboy? And they'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, so it really depends, but I mean, really no.
Have you... So you're in the ambulance as they're going?
Yeah.
Have you had somebody pass away in the back with you?
No. No, I have not.
You think that would like I don't want to say scare you, but would that fuck you up to like be in the presence of someone as they passed away?
No.
No?
No.
Cuz I feel like that would fuck me up.
Yeah.
It's also a job though.
Yeah. I mean, you just like that's.
Is that what you look at it? You kind of like this is my job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think that stuff is kind of gnarly, so that's why I picked the field. But it doesn't stay with me.
Where do you want to take it? Like from like, because I mean we've talked.
That's a good question.
Because we've talked before, and you're like, I'm kind of thinking about not wanting to do this anymore. But that was a while ago. That was a few months ago. So I don't know where you're at. So do you want to continue? Is there somewhere you want to go? Then yeah.
Okay, so yes and no, but I don't think I want to continue. Not because of what I see and what I do, but it's really like how you're treated in the EMS field. Like for instance, I get paid fucking not even $20 an hour for getting ran 24 hours a day. Like you get woken up, I don't get like a full night's sleep. Like it just doesn't happen. And then on top of that, just EMS is really like being on an ambulance is like a stepping stone. And usually people already know what they want to do. They want to be a firefighter, or they want to be in police force or something like that.
I was about to say firefighter would be badass.
See, that's cool and all, but I like drugs, so I can't really. It's just really not like, it's not like, I don't want that lifestyle, like always being like micromanaged and stuff like that. Like there's so much in life that you can do, and I feel like I feel like I can do more with myself, you know, like this.
So if you were taking this further, where could you see yourself going with this experience?
So originally, and like still, I would love to be a PA, which is a physician's assistant, but I need to go to school, which is why I would go to Europe, because school is pretty much next to free in Europe. And so I could get my 4 years there and then come back and then get my PA, which is only 2
so
years.
glad you brought it up
everyone's
because
dying in Europe, so you don't want to go.
Yeah,
there.
well, not now, of course, but
glad you brought it up because you and me, one of the first time I had you on the podcast, it was you backpacked through Europe.
yes.
So now, where are you at in that? Because when we talked, you were like, I'm moving there.
Yeah.
I met someone out there.
Yeah.
Where are you at when it comes to wanting to move out to Europe?
So now I've kind of grown up and I've gotten some responsibilities, like as far as bills. And it just sucks because like I'm in a hole where I have a truck payment now, which is not bad. Like I purposely did not get a new car because I knew like I had.
What are you driving?
A Ranger, Ford Ranger.
Okay, like a new one. What do you, like?
It's
you
2000
say you're paying on it.
Yeah, it's a 2000. Like I paid $7,000 for it, something like $7,000. And so, like, I only owe $6,000 on it, but I could have gone and got a fucking...
okay, yeah.
I could have got a brand new truck, but I don't want that because I don't want to stay here 6 years and pay on a truck note, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm, like, trying to set myself up so I can save at the same time, and that's another reason why I moved back in with my mom, because I'm just, like, sitting on a full free check every 2 weeks. So, like, I'm able to save and pay off my truck and start saving so I can do that. But at the same time, it's just, like, I'm already 24. And I I'm kind of discouraged because like a lot of people when I met out there, they had already got their college degree and they were like, oh, I don't like what I'm doing, so I'm just going to go travel. And so a lot of people like already have their life together, and I feel like kind of pushed in a way because everyone's like, you need to go to school, you need to have your life figured out at this time, and you need to know what you want to do. But dude, I have no idea like what I really want to do.
I'm sitting in the same boat. I'm 24. I have no school at all.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I'm still trying to
okay.
figure out what I would want to do.
Right.
And especially with like things that are like that, I have things that are pinning me down where I have like, you know, specific things that I can only do.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and it's it's emphasized when like you see people doing it, but those people that are doing it have parents that have money, or they just knew the right people and they were able to get their foot in a good ass job without any experience, you know. So they can afford that and they don't have any responsibilities.
Yeah, like if they're like, oh, this isn't for me, they could go back and do something else.
Exactly.
When you don't have that luxury.
Exactly, but like for us, like we have to work, we have bills, you know, like we have to pay our shit, you know. So.
And I told Jose too. Oh, Jose says I'm 45, so I'm 45 and I still don't know what I want to do.
And that's
I said
okay.
45. I said 42.
You know, I'm like constantly my peers around me and like everyone that I talk to is like, it's okay, like you're 24 years
yeah,
old.
dude, like there's
so
people that go back to school at like
in their
40,
30s or
50,
40s.
yeah, like they go back to school. When I was going to TCC, they literally told me there's this lady that's like 50 years old that only takes art classes.
Yeah.
Because she does it for a hobby. She likes art.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to know what you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've switched from wanting to be in marketing. I've switched to wanting to be in radio. I switched to wanting to be business management. I switched to wanting to be a therapist. Like there's so many things that I want to do, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't see myself doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
like, nah, Arby's is fine.
no, but like, there's things where I could see myself doing,
Right.
but it's more like, do I really want to take the commitment and take the time and the money to chase this? Where I'm like, I might change my mind. I've changed my mind like 4 times, bro.
Exactly.
I think it's also like the risk factor.
Yeah.
Where you're like scared to try it, which like me, like I have only waited tables and served.
I envy people that like are 20 something and know what the fuck they want to do. Like I wish I could be like that.
Yeah.
My whole like career, I guess, like, you know, since I was 17, I've only waited on tables. So like I have no idea what else I would want to do, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also like I'm not scared of taking chances, but at the same time, it's like I'm stuck because I don't know what else I would want to do.
I think a lot of like back to we don't know what we want to do, and like me personally, like I feel forced, like I feel like I should know what I want to do, and this and that comes from our generation and like the generation before us. A lot of kids nowadays, like you see all these YouTubers and you see all these kids that are
getting
fucking
rich
millionaires.
from nothing, yeah.
And from nothing, but it's because of like the web. And so deep in our minds, like whenever we don't even force it to be that way, we just see like, well, fuck, they're doing it. I should be doing this, you know? And
Hell
like,
yeah, I'm gonna.
We can
TikTok
also
famous,
take
bro.
that to our advantage.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So
you see how easy it can.
So
happen.
for example, like
if you
when,
work towards it,
Yeah.
like they got lucky.
Yeah.
But if you work towards it, I mean,
Yeah,
you
okay,
can
so-
honestly do it. And this time of age, you could do anything. you
yeah,
want.
an example like me, Jose, Brian, we all did rap like what 2010, 2011, 2012. We were rapping and making music and putting it up to YouTube. But how it's so much easier to become famous now than it was when we were doing
you just
it.
need one.
Because you just
song.
need one thing to blow you up and make you viral. And even if you never fucking make another good song again, like you're making money off that one song.
Yeah.
So like I feel like if we were to start making music again, it would be a lot easier
Right.
to be. But it could be, you could look at it as be a lot easier to make money, or it could be a lot harder because everyone's doing the same thing.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
That's
how
why
are you gonna stand out?
It's just like Lil Nas X, where like I've heard him talk about how like he literally basically studied how to become viral, and he knew that's what he wanted to do, and he worked on basically making one song that he knew will blow him up, and that's why he took so much time. He recorded Old Time Road or whatever like a year before it blew up. And all he did was focus on like blowing it up until finally, I think it was TikTok, that's the reason that he blew up, is it became a TikTok song, and then after that it was played everywhere.
And then he made like 10 remixes of that same song.
But now he's a famous fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he literally studied on how like what he needs to do to become viral. And then from there, he became what he is.
Yeah, because at that point, it's not how good is your song; it's how
How far can you go?
Yeah, how far can you push it? Yeah.
So
All right, so
who
enough
do
for
you
Lil
think-
Nas X, bro. I don't want to talk about him now.
Who do you think would win a fight between me and Memo?
That was the most random ass.
I'm just asking a question. Memo say he doesn't want to talk about Lil Nas X. I had another.
Well,
question.
I had something I was gonna go with.
Who
but...
do you think would win a fight between me and Memo? Mikey, please take the stand.
Oh, you talking to me?
Who else is here? Mikey, who do you think would win a fight between me and Memo? We're
Okay,
waiting.
because obviously...
I'm blind. You have to take it into
Yeah, that
consideration.
ain't fair. But if he was not blind, he would beat your ass.
Okay, so let's just talk about it, bro. I don't know if we've talked about it on the other episode you and me did by ourselves, but the time I got jumped on 7th Street because I was hollering at somebody's girl.
This nigga.
Bro, the funniest part of the entire story is that Jose thought that it was for like 2 years. Jose's like, we gonna pull up.
Until y'all told me that it wasn't a real
So
story.
what happened was on 7th Street, I was just being drunk with Mikey and Tony and everybody, and I like was just drunk and face planted. Like I
did get in
slid,
a fight that
I
night,
slid across the floor.
Memo says his
Hold
big
on.
man dingo comes up.
Yeah, bro. No, hold
slaps the shit out
on.
of him
So what
because-
really happened is I slid across the floor, busted my shit wide open, right? But
Don't tell me you slid across the floor. Y'all were crossing a street.
bro, it was
And
bad.
slid across the street.
Bro,
Memo tripped on his shoelace.
I would not trip on my
Because
shoelace.
he's blind.
No,
Memo
no,
tripped on
stop.
his shoelace
No, I didn't trip on my shoelace.
busted
What
his
it was
face.
is that my fucking pants were sagging, and I was like trying to run with my looking like a damn penguin, and I fucking just fall.
It's because he wears jeans 2 sizes down, bro. Look at his skinny ass pants.
But no, okay, so for like 2 years, we told Jose, and I told Jose, I was like, bro, I got into a fight, man. He's like, shut
And he
up.
was so
No,
upset that nobody
no. At first, he didn't believe it. But I was like, bro, ask Daniel. Daniel's right here. And Daniel Countryman grabs the phone. Was like, bro, I seen it. And she was wild. And
No cap. So me and Sebastian are sitting right here in the garage. We're just hanging out, drinking, we're talking, we're doing whatever. And then I think Memo sends a picture of a busted lip. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he tells me, he's like, bro, I just got beat up on, what was it, 7th Street.
Yeah.
I just got beat up on 7th Street. Immediately calling him. No, what do you mean you just got beat up? He's like, bro, I just got beat
Nobody
up.
helped you?
He's like, they all just watched me get beat up. They didn't do nothing. So me and Sebastian are literally about to Uber to 7th Street. Like, ready for war, bro. Like,
Get the clip.
Get the get. Like, we're ready for it, bro. And then 2 years later, Memo finally tells me, he's like, no, I just busted my ass while I was walking across the street.
Bro, but it was funny because everyone knew the truth except for Jose and Sebastian, bro.
And no one told me. For 2 years, no one told me about it.
No, but I thought it was so funny. It's like, bro, I was macking on this girl, and her boyfriend, Big Man Dingo Warrior, comes up and fights me, bro. And no one jumped in.
I was calling it into existence because now he's going to the club. He's grabbing
Right.
ass, dude.
Bro, yeah.
Right.
Jose was like, bro, you're gonna catch a case.
You gotta catch a
I told him,
case.
I was like, bro, grabbing all ass, fool. And Tyler Reed told him to do it. He's like, you just gotta grab
Of course.
all ass, bro.
Of course.
We'll call him out. Tyler Reed creeper, fool. He said, you just grab him by the ass, fool. I told him, I was like, you gonna catch a case, fool.
That's why I don't be listening to Tyler, bro. I swear to God, he gonna get me in trouble, bro.
That's why I told you they're best friends. 'Cause they're both weirdos.
No.
They're both weirdos.
Yeah,
I'll call him
no.
out right now. I wish he was here. He could try to defend himself. Fucking Squanto.
Young, you calling out Squanto?
I'm calling out Squanto. I want to see Squanto in the ring, bro. I'm calling him out right now. Bro.
God.
Oh, man. But, okay, so, enough of that. I did want to talk about conspiracy theories, though.
What you want to talk about?
Like, okay, so, just some of the most... I'm gonna throw out some conspiracy theories, and you'll tell me if you believe them or not. Okay? Do you believe the moon landing is fake? Or do you think we actually did that?
No, I think we did that.
Because there's those conspiracy theories that says that we faked it,
Yeah.
and then we did go eventually to the moon.
That's what I believe.
But we faked it the first time.
If
because
it
we
was-
wanted to beat, like, Russia or whatever to him.
If it was faked, then we definitely been there now.
Okay. Jose, what do you think about the moon?
What about the whole North Pole?
What about it?
Apparently they have tunnels in North Pole
I believe that.
that reach the center of the Earth.
I believe that.
And it was a whole thing. I'd have to go back and look at it. But like Hitler had all this research on it and everything. And now you can't even fly past it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Who the fuck flies to Antarctica anyway?
No, you can't fly over it. Like people will
Avoid
shut
it.
that shit down, and you can't even get near it. And people are trying to say is because there's like a whole civilization almost going down into that.
You know, there's another thing based off that is there was this guy. I don't remember the full story on it, but there was some guy, and I believe he was the first one to like travel to across the sea, and he was in a plane, and his records say, which back then he like wrote everything in this journal, and back then there was like no reason to lie, but all of he literally said that he flew and nobody knew where he was going. There wasn't any technology to like map out where he was, but he flew into an area where it was like the center of the world, like the center of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he like flew into this pretty much like a hole, and there was a whole nother like civilization, and his notes say in it how detailed it was, and like it's really interesting. Like I don't know enough about it to speak on it, but if you did research, it's really interesting. You should do it.
And the giant comes out of his cage.
Shut up. What's up, my dude? Hello.
Okay, what about like Bigfoot and shit? Do you believe in Bigfoot? You think that's real?
No.
You don't think that's real?
No. I think it's cool, but I don't think there's a big hairy nigga just running around.
What about like you said earlier, the planes and everything going across them? What about the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, there's some knowledge.
I
about
think
that.
the reason that's
And they're saying ships and planes.
well, okay, so
like,
I've done a
crash.
little bit of research on the Bermuda Triangle. So I think what it is that there's like
They're saying like planes literally they get lost.
well, it's not that they
And,
get
like,
lost, is that there's something in that area. I forgot what the exact word is. I'd have to go online, but it's like there's something that fucks up with like
Yeah.
like not the radio, but like it fucks up with
All the instruments.
and the instruments in the aircraft or in the boat or whatever, and it literally they sink or like they crash and they'll sink.
Yeah.
Because they can't control the.
And why aren't they ever discovered?
But there's knowledge behind it. Like it's kind of like with gravity and all that stuff. Like if you hit the right spot, it will throw off like gravity, and it will throw off our known, I guess, physics. So I mean, there's truth behind it, but is there truth behind? Oh, it's haunted or.
Yeah, I don't think it's haunted or anything
it's
like
nothing
that.
like that. It's literally just like a fucked up place where it just
Not
messes
haunted.
with.
I didn't they say it was almost like the Atlantis, like the under.
No,
Like the.
I don't think the Bermuda Triangle and Atlantis have
It's
anything
not
to do
what
with
they
each other.
said. There was like the underground, like
I don't know if they're next. I don't
think they're near each other.
I don't
No.
know the geography behind it, but
I don't know either.
Speaking
But
of haunted, do you
there
guys
is
do you
weird
guys believe
shit.
in ghosts?
yes,
You believe in ghosts? Have you
Yeah.
had any ghost experiences?
yes.
What? Tell me that.
That's a long story.
I
No,
believe in
who
ghosts,
cares?
but
What?
I've never experienced anything. I wish I had.
Yeah. Who cares? Bro,
I
we got
wish I
plenty of
had
time.
those.
What's the ghost story?
So me, Taki, Camper, Christian Blanco.
Shout out Camper.
Shout out Camper. Shout out Taki. Shout out Christian Blanco. We all went out to Goatman's Bridge when we Waterburger days. We were
Okay, so
bored as fuck.
wait, hold on. Before we get into the Goatman's Bridge, the legend behind that is there was what was it? A slave?
No, there was a black man.
It wasn't a
And-
slave, right?
No, he was
No.
not a slave. He was a black guy, and he sold goats, and he was like really, he was banking off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like the KKK was around, and the KKK didn't like that there was a black man being successful, so they like fucked him up. While he was crossing the bridge, they like hung him over the bridge.
Did they kill his family too, though?
Yeah,
or
and so
something like
after
that.
they killed him, they went to his house and then like killed his family and all that.
So they say when you go to Goatman's Bridge and you park their car there, or you park your car at the bridge, the Goatman will be waiting at the
Nah.
at the other side of the bridge or some shit like that. The stories like that always
yeah.
get twisted. Like
Yeah. I mean, like I've heard of like if you go there at some part of the night or some part of the year or something like that, like people have heard like hooves hit the ground, and like some people have seen just like weird shit over there. But what me and the homies did was we went there because we saw a video of someone with a flashlight, and they took this flashlight, and it's one of those turn ones, and they turned it on and they put it on the bridge, and they sat around in a circle and they talked to Goatman. And apparently if you ask him like questions, yes and no questions, he'll turn and on off the light.
Mm-hmm.
And so we saw that and we were bored as fuck.
Well, let's
and
go.
so we were like, let's go. So we went the first time, nothing really happened. And then the same week, like we went again because it was just like something to do, you know? So like the second or third time we went, and shit started changing.
He's like, I'm tired of y'all motherfuckers coming up to my bridge fucking with me all the time.
No, not even that. Like, it's weird to say because people have like different views on this, but it's like we literally like gained a relationship with him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And after like the first few times of us going in groups and the groups narrowing down,
Oh, they got smaller?
yeah, they got smaller. Weird shit started to happen, but we took the flashlight and we went out there and we put it on the deck, and we would start asking them questions, and sure enough, that motherfucking light went on and off as soon as we would ask a question.
What would you ask him that the light went on?
I don't know every simple question, but like we would ask if there is a goat man here, can you turn on the light for us? And the light would flicker on and off. And to prove that it was not being weird, like we would jump around the flashlight just to make sure like it wasn't like flickering, and like, you know, the flashlight wasn't barely turned on. Like we really went into detail with it, and we had a conversation with this guy. Not like conversation, but like we literally like had a series of questions, and that light turned on and off.
Each
and we
time.
got and it wasn't even like after that started happening, of course the first few questions were like we were all like chilled, like this is fucking weird, but it was happening in the moment. We never experienced that, so we became like comfortable with it. And so like we literally went out there like a few times and like would just go out there and just like ask questions, and it wasn't scary anymore. But the fucked up part is I went out there with Timber and my cousin, and whenever I was out there, I like showed them, because after me and the boys did it, I was like, oh, like, yo,
You guys have to come check
y'all
this
have
out.
to come check this out. Yeah. And so we went, and nothing happened the time that we were there. Nothing happened. But I was running out of cigarettes, and I've smoked American Spirits then. And we were sitting on the bridge and nothing was happening. So I was like, okay, I swear to God this is true, but fuck it, whatever. If it's not happening, then we can just leave. So I was like, I'm almost out of cigarettes anyway. And so whenever I was walking off the bridge, I shit you not, there was a full pack of Marlboro Reds, packaged and sealed, sitting at the end of the bridge. Like in the middle of the stairway, like in the middle of the bridge.
It's like he was gifting it.
Yeah, like I there's no weird, like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't think ghosts can just like give you shit, but that was like so fucking weird.
It's almost like don't leave. Like the cigarettes are
yeah. Like I was so bent on that for so long, and like it's hard to tell people that like a fucking ghost gave me a pack of cigarettes. You know, like it's hard to explain that, but
for all you know, it
happened.
could have been some kids that were out there like trying to do the same thing. They got scared and they left the cigarettes.
No, because whenever you walk on the bridge, there's only one way to get there. And when we first got in, we're like, the girls are interested and I'm interested, so like we're looking around, you know, like we're curious of what's around. Like we see our surroundings, and when you go up to the bridge, there's no trash. Like it's there's no trash around. We saw everything how it was. Like, there was nothing there. We walked in the middle of the bridge. And then once we were sitting there for an hour, I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go. Like, I'm out of cigarettes.
Then
we're walking out, and in the middle of the fucking bridge, at the end of it, there's a pack of cigarettes there. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know.
Damn.
That was very strange. So, yeah.
Stuff like that makes me want to do Baker's Hotel and whatnot.
Dude, they're reopening.
Yeah. They're reopening Baker's Hotel. They're reopening Baker's Hotel, so would you stay the night there?
Fuck yeah.
Even though they have all these crazy stories.
I heard it was like crackhead infested. And
well, no, okay, so they're fixing up the hotel where
you want it.
they're refixing up the hotel where you could stay the night there and shit like that. So
oh, really?
Yeah, so you could stay the night there. And you said you would actually stay there.
I would stay there.
Even though you've heard all the stories of like however many people died and all this shit, you would still stay there?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you stay the night at a haunted hotel?
100%.
Yeah.
And not even Baker's. Like, I want to like travel to, because there's haunted places here.
Like bro, for Halloween, I even showed you. There's a house you can go to, like or a legit haunted house
you can pay
where you could pay to stay the night at. Yeah. And like you
you
could take
have to,
ghost
sign a
tours. You
waiver
have to
and
sign a
everything.
waiver and all this crazy shit. Before even going. And I would love to get a group together, but none of our friends are actually down for that shit.
I'd do it. Let's go.
No.
Let's go.
That sounds like a great
find out the place. Find out give me the information.
It's right. It's like on the same street as Baker's Hotel.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that. I'm just kidding. Let's go. I'm down as fuck.
But yeah, like I've always been interested in the paranormal, but I've never. I mean, I've seen shit,
Memo
but like
can't see anything.
I'm blind, so like
care.
for all you know, I've seen a ghost before, and that was just my eyes playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
Literally, a skeeter hawk will land on him and you'll
I'm very I like, there's a thin line with me. I like because I'm interested in it and I think it's very fucking cool seeing like paranormal activity. But there's a point to where you need to stop. Like people that fuck with Ouija boards and stuff and like all that. And cause
you wouldn't be down to play a Ouija board?
No, because I was told when I was younger not to by my grandpa, and there's a story behind it.
So you're down to like, you know,
I'm down to talk.
You're down to throw a guy in the back of your truck that had his head freaking blown off by a couple cars, but you don't want to play a Ouija board?
Absolutely, because in a Ouija board, that is literally a gateway to a.
Okay, so what's the story with your grandpa? What's the story with your grandpa? You said you have a story about a Ouija board about your grandpa.
Okay, so my grandpa, back in his high school days, he went to a party, and at this party, there were a bunch of like there was the football team was there, the cheerleaders were there, everyone was there, and he got there, and all the football team were playing beer pong or whatever they were doing, having fun, and the girls were in another room. And they had a Ouija board. and they were.
It's always the girls that are up to some fucking
Yeah.
fucked up shit.
They were fucking with the Ouija board, and some point at the night, they ran out into the room where all the football players were, and they ran up to the quarterback, and they were like, "Yo," like not yo, but they were like, "Hey," like they were crying, and they were like, "Don't leave. The Ouija board like said you were gonna die, and this and that." And everyone was like, "Hey, like y'all are tripping. It's just a game." Because they didn't. I mean, they knew, but they didn't know how much it is now. You know, like playing with that stuff. And so those guys were just like, y'all are bullshit. Like y'all are tripping. Go chill out. And so they go on with their night, and they run out of beer. And so all the guys get ready to go like make a beer run. And all the girls are just like, hey, like we told you like not to leave, like don't leave, because the Ouija board said like you were gonna like something bad is gonna happen. And of course he just like blew it off. And so my grandpa went with them, and they went down the street, and they got on the highway, and on the highway they got a flat tire, and the quarterback was the first one to step out the car, and he stepped over the white line on the highway, and a Cadillac came by, hit him, and he flew 15 feet in the air. Died instantly.
Dang.
And my grandpa was like, don't you ever fuck with the Ouija board, because I called him because like my aunt, I was in Waco at the time, and they were like scaring the shit out of me with like playing with the Ouija board, and like I was scared. I was like 7 or 8. So I like called my grandpa, and I was like, I'm scared, like I don't know what to do, but I'm just like checking in with them. And that's when he like told me like, if anyone ever like fucks with the Ouija board and you don't feel comfortable, like I will come get you. And he was like 3 hours away. But he was like, I will come get you. And then like he told me the story whenever I got home, and he was like, don't ever play with a Ouija board.
So that's just scarred you.
Yeah. So
But you're not in like as like risk taking you are. You wouldn't just like mess with it just to see what's going on.
Because that's the shitty part is
because it's also like with Goatman's Bridge. I mean, you were talking to someone
I was, but like that board, there's something about that board. And you are opening up a gate to whatever is behind that gate. You are telling whoever is there, come on in.
Yeah.
And so that's that gateway like you don't fuck with. Like if you want to talk to ghosts, cool. There's only a certain like wall they can only come to you at a point. But when you play with a board, like you're opening that wall for whatever to come in and do whatever it wants to do. So that's where the line draws and be like, I won't.
What it reminds me of is I used to be scared as shit of this, but the episode of Zach and Cody when they go into that hotel room that is haunted and all that stuff happens, and then they sit around the fucking table holding hands, and Esteban is like, oh no, and then he goes fucking crazy. That scared me. That fucking terrified me. As a kid, that's what that reminds me of. It's like everyone's like speaking to spirits in the whole
And he's talking in
world.
tongues
like,
and shit.
Yes, that's what that
Fucking
reminds me
Jose.
of.
Leave it up to Jose to turn a very serious moment.
That's what that reminds me
Talking
of.
about
That
fucking
nigga Esteban.
That nigga Esteban scared me shitless, boy. Like, fuck. I still mess with the Ouija board.
All right, so as we wind down, Mikey, is there anything like you want to bring up or talk about? You know, like anything that's on your mind that because who knows when the next time you'll be on the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Me and Christian are about to start doing that whole YouTube thing.
Yeah.
So you'll be a star in that.
Oh, it's going down, dude. We're gonna start interviewing people.
Yeah, you can feature, bro. We're gonna want as much people as we can.
We're gonna start interviewing people on 7th
I want as
Street.
many dumb questions as possible. But I want you to get me like when I'm drunk. Like I want to be belligerent.
Bro,
drunk.
I can't catch you drunk.
When you ask me that question, the first thing that pops in my head, I want that to be on there. You know, like what'd you say? You can't catch me that drunk?
Yeah, like you told me you won't go to like 7th and stuff.
Jose doesn't like going out in public.
Are you? So you're going out on the street?
So we're going to 7th, and like we're gonna be like interviewing people because like I have my camera, I got an LED light, so like I got a microphone and all that. So we're just gonna script some stuff to ask people throughout the night and just go to random people and just do our thing.
And you were one of the perfect people to do that because you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I'm talking, and you're very talkative. Like, what's up, homie? Yeah. And then like, of
And
course,
you know me, when I get drunk, I just be like, "Fuck it, you've seen me. I just been doing."
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's such an attraction, because whenever you're drunk like that with all of your homies and you see a camera come up, you're gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?" And then like you'll want to.
So you can't get in trouble for walking around with the camera and recording and whatnot.
You just have to get the whoever's like their consent.
But if they automatically come up to you, then you're already giving consent. You're giving. I forgot.
So you're gonna be like, like I've seen them on YouTube.
Yeah, you've seen it, and like they
like
just
people
ask.
testing fake jewelry.
bro, I'm gonna wear, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear a suit. Bro, when we go to 7th Street, I'll wear a suit. And be like, "What's your body count?" Bro, like straight up, like just,
That's what you gotta do.
count?
You gotta catch Memo belligerently drunk and be like, "Are you a virgin?" And then he's gonna be like, "Yes."
what the fuck? Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying, like, you gotta catch him, bro. You've been trying to hide it from him.
Fucking Jose over here.
It'll be fun though. I can't wait. I ordered all the equipment today, so by the time it comes in, it'll be perfect because the Corona thing will be over, and everybody will be at the bars.
Y'all are creating a channel?
Yes.
What happened to you wanting to create? What
is?
happened to you?
No.
You wanting to create a podcast too? You told me you wanted to do a podcast.
See, I want to do that, but it's a lot, man.
See, that's the thing. I know you've asked me a few times, like, why'd you stop doing the podcast, bro? It just becomes a hassle because you're just. I feel like sometimes you just have to like struggle to come up with content.
And with a podcast, like I'm one of those people that I want to go big or I want to go home. And with a podcast, like I would want a precise room. I would want like a precise persona. I would want like.
You would have to have a whole studio, mics.
Exactly.
Everything.
And like
You wanna go-
that's a lot. That's a lot to deal.
You want to
with.
go like all the way with it.
Yeah, and like in this way, I feel like it's more fun because like you can interact with everyone, and like you can with a podcast, like
You
can
never
just go
know
in a
who
room.
you're gonna interview,
Exactly.
and what you're gonna hear.
Exactly.
So it would be interesting.
Yeah, so it'll be fun, more fun that way, in my opinion. So
Well,
we'll see.
I look forward to seeing that. Well, I'm going to be on it, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, y'all are gonna be on.
I'll be on it.
I promise you, I'm not one of those people. Like literally, like homies will be on it because that's y'all are how it's gonna get big too. You know, so y'all are gonna be a part of it, and I hope it gets big. Like that'd be cool as fuck. You know, but like honestly,
That, like we were saying earlier, you just need that one thing to make it viral.
Exactly.
You ask one question, and one drunk girl at the fucking bar will say something ridiculous, and that clip will get you viral.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But honestly, like
Just
it's
wait
just
till
fun.
the titties come out, and we'll do Girls Gone Wild Part 2, man, featuring Mikey.
Featuring Mikey.
7th
out of here, boy.
7th Street edition, bro. All right, man. Well, I'm glad you came on the podcast, bro. It was
Indeed,
fun.
my
Yeah,
dude.
I'm glad you
Thanks
came
for
through,
having
man.
me. Thanks for having
You're
me.
like I said, you're one of the few people that actually come through. You know, I did, like I said, I wanted to do a year anniversary and have everybody on it, but
I mean, it's almost there.
with the Corona podcast, with the Corona going on, it was hard to do a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I mean,
fucking Rona.
The fuck?
I wanted to ask you earlier. We blew over it, but do y'all remember in November and December when everyone had that bad cough and it lasted like 2 weeks and everyone was fucking sick?
Mm-mm.
When we were talking about conspiracy theories.
Mm-mm.
Back in November, back in December, there was a bad cough going around.
Yeah.
And everyone was getting sick. And it lasted about 2 weeks.
I don't remember.
And I was thinking, was that the start of it?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember.
Because, I mean, it's a thing. Like I remember,
In China, they said that the Corona stuff's been going on for like 6 months.
like I said, like Corona has been a thing. But
Well,
the
I'm talking about the
COVID-19
pandemic
is
we're
what's
in
going
right
on.
now. What we're in
But
right now
like
has been going
even
on for
Meek
6
Mill
months.
tweeted about it. He was like, I remember back in November, I was fucking sick and I lost like 15 pounds because of the flu. Blah blah blah.
Meek
He's
Mill
like-
said this?
He was like, my doctors couldn't explain it. Blah blah blah. He's like, now I know what the fuck it was.
It was a Corona, man.
It was the Corona.
You know
Who
what?
knows?
The only cure for the Corona is Dos Equis.
I think alcohol literally kills it all. Every time I get sick, I drink, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel great.
But yeah, dude, thank you for coming on. I'm glad you can come on, and I look forward to having you come back as a reoccurring guest because
Thank you.
You're one of the few ones that are like always entertaining to bring on. So.
For sure, my G.
Yeah,
I'm always
so
down.
I'm glad you were able to come during this pandemic.
Yeah, fuck
You were
the
able to
pandemic.
come through. You know what I'm saying?
He washes his hands
got it.
before he gets here. Before anyone questions us. All right. The only reason we invited him is because he sanitized himself, and he washed his hands. All right.
I'm
Yeah.
actually in a hazmat suit. I
Don't.
just
Yeah,
can't see
he's in a suit. Don't give a shit about
Because
this.
the last episode, we're like, guys, stay home. And the very next episode, we're like, Mikey's here. Like,
I was literally like, do not go out. Do not go visit your friends just because you can't go to the bars. Like, stay home. Well, no, Mikey's here. All right,
Yes,
motherfucker.
sir.
Well, yeah,
He's
man.
an EMT, so he's clean.
but yeah, man, thank you for coming on. It's always a great time having you.
For sure, my
And
dude.
we look forward to more episodes with you, man.
I don't know what
I'll
he's
be
talking
here.
about. I fucking hate you, Mikey. I fucking hate you.
You a pink panty ass. Where's your jersey?
Hey, where's your pretty lips at,
Where's
fool?
your jersey?
Put them hoes up. Come on now. You look good, nigga. You look good. I'll take you, nigga. Come on, now.
All right, man. All right. Until next time, bros. I'm cutting this out before it gets weird. All right?
Deuce!
See y'all later.